Hello YouTubers, today we're going to be doing the rear brakes on this Hyundai Veracruz. It's a 2008 and the customer already hit metal to metal on the rear ones. You can see the rotor here, it's scratched up and it's making a terrible sound. Let's see if we can save the caliper. Don't really want to ride the brakes, but let's see if we can hear them. Can you hear that? Wow. Oh my God. Let's see how bad they look. All right, let's take the tire off and see what kind of damage we have. All right. It takes a 14mm on these two bolts, that one and this one down here. But first I'm gonna kind of grab this screwdriver and wedge it between the caliper and the rotor or brake pad and kind of squeeze it this way. That'll kind of see how it moved. It compresses that piston, so when I loosen these I can take this off. If I was gonna do only the brake, I think I could get away by loosening this bottom one and just flipping the caliper up, but the whole bracket has to come off. Since we're going to replace the rotor, the whole bracket will have to come off. I'll show you what I mean. If you're only doing the brakes, you can take just the bottom bolt off and lift this and boom, out come the pads. You're done. But since we're gonna do the rotor, we have to take this bracket off. And you can also take the bracket off together with the brake caliper, but I'm gonna do it separate. So I want to see how these bad boys look. I'm sure they look like crud. Yeah. Yep, she scratched that rotor right here. The inside wasn't there yet, but yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, I did. Barely touched a little bit. All right, let me take the top bolt off. And this one isn't very heavy, the caliper. You get some heavy ones and you don't want to let them hang. Even this one, you don't want to let it hang. Just find a spot for it or get some wire or a bungee cord. And let's take a look at these two bolts back here. Should be two bolts. Yeah. This one and that one. And that'll remove this bracket. So we can get this out. But we're gonna have to loosen these screws, and these screws can be a pain in the butt. I'll show you a tool I use for those. These can be a pain in the butt. Sometimes they're on there so tight that when you try to use the Phillips, it ends up stripping the little star there. Yeah, this one I got lucky. Lucky. Now, if you're not lucky like I am, then you want to get this little kit. I guess $15, maybe under 20. It's got all different adapters for a Phillips, a flat screwdriver. This is how it looks, and it's got a little. That's what it is. It's got this adapter. You put it on, but you're gonna use a Phillips or flat, and then you put it on here, and you hit it with the hammer back here. And when you hit it, the shock, and it twists by itself, and it'll break these real simple. It works awesome. I've never had any issues with it. Or if you don't have that tool, take a hammer and a punch and start putting it here on the edge. And I'll use this as a hammer just to demonstrate. And when you hit it, it starts turning that screw. Take something pointy and just put it on the side of that screw, like right here. When you hit it, it'll turn it like that until it eventually comes out, starts spinning. So far everything's going smooth. These bolts back here They had just happened to be 14, so I don't have to go chase another size here. And these are usually real tight because they've got take your hammer and hit it till it breaks loose. Okay, this one's already loose. Don't breathe that dust in. Come on, please come on. I'm gonna stick a bar back here. Come on now, buddy. Throw this dust out here. Now I'm gonna clean that up. Use some brake clean and get it all cleaned up. I'm gonna use this brake clean. Put it in there, get all these parts nice and clean. Alright YouTubers, we've got the new rotor here. And you match up the holes here. Okay, got the holes matched up. All lined up. Let's make sure the diameter is the same. Yep. Alright guys, when you get new rotors, just go ahead and clean them. Take a nice clean rag, shop rag, whatever you have, and clean these guys real good. Take that little lubricant that they come with from the factory that they put on there. I guess so they don't rust out while they're in the storage or sitting there on the shelf or being shipped. Just clean it real good. That looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the bracket. Get all that dust off of there. If you want to, you can even take these off, the hardware. Sometimes your new pads will come with new hardware and sometimes it won't. Clean in there. You got a brush, you can scrape in there real good, which I do. Get that dust out of there. Look how it polished up. Okay, like I told you, I'm gonna pull these out, wipe them clean, and take some of this brake caliper grease, grease them up. Take this other one. Make sure they go in and out. That'll cause some issues if they don't. Damn, I breathed in that brake clean. It's making me cough. There. That'll prevent any squeaking too. And take these, since we didn't have any new ones, let's just clean these bad boys up a little bit. Look how pretty they're looking now. How shiny. Look at that. They're chrome now. Anyway, do all of them like that. Okay. When you put the new rotor on, make sure you line up these little screws that we took off. That one and that one. Line them up with the ones here on the hub. And that one is gonna go how? Like this. Okay. Should go in like this. Yeah. And if you're having a hard time putting it in there, you might want to take a hammer and tap on these brake shoes and adjust it, because it might be off, it might have moved, and you're gonna have a hard time putting this in. But thank God this went in. Okay, we've got the rotor in, thank God. And if it was my car, I'd get rid of these little screws. all they're gonna do in the long run cause you problems. They're gonna strip. Somebody's gonna try to take them off, and they're not gonna be able to, and they're gonna strip them. So on my car, I leave them off. They only serve a purpose. The only purpose they serve is when they're in the assembly line. They hold that rotor in there while it goes to the next guy, and that's it. Other than that, you don't need them. People think, well, how's the rotor gonna hold in there? The rotor holds in there with the tire and the lug nuts. When you tighten the lug nuts, this ain't going nowhere. But anyway, that's what I do. But it's the customer, I'm gonna leave him on there. Now let's put this bracket. And I already put the hardware in there. Let's put it like that and put the bolts behind it. All right, let's put that bracket in. And these usually have some Loctite. They're hard to come off, but these weren't too hard. Make sure you get these super tight. Go up here, put the pads on. What I usually do is I like putting the one with the wear sensor in the inside. Let me put the outside first, and then we'll have to crawl in there and do the back one. Like I do the outside so I can see what I'm doing, and that kind of opens those hardware up where it's easier to put the back one in. Not always, but it is. So, there we go. Okay. Now we need to compress this piston. Let me get my C-clamp. And to compress this piston, they have all kinds of tools. I've got that tool, and I had a little gun that was awesome. I need to buy another one. It broke on me. But by the time I get that organized, I just think it's a lot quicker if I go with the C-clamp on this one. Just take your old brake pad, stick it in there. And this is when you want to look at your reservoir. Make sure you don't overflow or make a mess. It's not going to hurt anything, but it's going to make a mess on the customer's car. Usually the back ones I don't have trouble with. It's the front ones that when I compress them, it overflows the reservoir and it starts leaking all over the place. So I usually suck some out with the little turkey baster or something that'll suck it out. Okay. It's in. And always pay attention when you take your brake pads off. Should have told you that before we took them off, because sometimes they've got little like rivets and they have to be set. If your caliper has a design on there, sometimes it has to be moved to a perfect alignment with these. This one we're good. It doesn't have anything to align. Just compress it. And in we go. Take your two little bolts for the caliper. Always start by hand threading stuff. You don't want to cross thread any of these little screws or bolts. Okay, we got them all done. Let's put the tire on. All right, tire's on. Let's look at the reservoir and see if we're still okay. Yeah, we're still good. Always pump your brakes once you do a brake job. Get the fluid back in the lines or you're gonna run into something. Okay. The back ones ain't too bad. It's when you do the front ones that you really don't have any brakes. Okay, that went down a little bit. All right, let's do the test drive. All right, YouTubers, just test drove it. It's braking real good. So she's good to go.
Thanks for watching, and like always, I really appreciate you, and God bless you.